Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch One, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the Fortis B-42 official Cosmonaut Chronograph. You can see this 42mm space-inspired titanium chronograph on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time to see our full listing for this watch with additional high-resolution images, accessories included, and naturally complete pricing details for this model. On the wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, the watch has impressive presence and stance for a timepiece that is nominally 42mm across the round of the case. Now that truly doesn't express how the watch wears or how it looks. If you told me that this was a 45mm watch, at face value, I would have believed it, because you can see the bezel, it actually cantilevers substantially outward on both sides of the case, and it increases the virtual span of the watch substantially. Moreover, the 42mm measurement does not include the outcroppings of the crown and the chronograph pushers, which you can see to good effect from this angle. Now, in terms of thickness, it's about par for a complex chronograph with automatic winding. The watch isn't excessively thick, but it is 15.5mm thick. You should be able to wear it underneath a sport jacket or blazer sleeve, but not a tight dress cuff. And again, that problem is complicated a bit by the outcropping of the bezel. It does have a little bit of a cantilever. Now, across the wrist, this watch really makes its case as a truly oversized timepiece. If 42mm is borderline, it's the lug-to-lug measurement of this watch that truly pushes it into the ranks of Audemars Piguet, Breitling, Hublot in terms of size class, because the measurement from the rigid outcropping of the end link of the bracelet on each side, the actual span across the wrist, swells to 58mm when you include the rigid outcropping of the bracelet. Very substantial. Again, if you want a large watch, don't discount this one because the bare measurement says 42. Think 44, 45, even 46. It wears like that. It also wears remarkably light because it's crafted entirely from titanium. Now you can see to good effect that the watch has a subdued color palette, matte black dial, matte black rayhot, matte black bezel, and satin finished titanium throughout. Case, bezel, and bracelet. It is a very substantial 3-link design. Feels wonderfully silken on the wrist because the links are so small individually. There's tremendous flexibility built in. You can also see on the underside, Fortis gives you broad channels between the links on the underside so that the watch will not pinch skin or pull hair. The clasp is very substantial. The swing arm feels completely milled out from titanium, very solid both members, and when closed it has a very secure clamshell closure, so this one stays shut when you close it. But it has another surprise that you may not expect in a watch that is aerospace inspired, and that is a proper suit extension. I'm going to call it a suit extension here and not a dive extension because presumably this is what you would use to wear this cosmonaut's watch over a spacesuit. It is, however, an ISO qualified dive watch, ISO 6425. It does meet that standard, and it does have a unidirectional rotating bezel. So if you were to dive with this watch, it would provide all of the support you need in terms of hermeticity and mechanical compliance. The watch is an interesting piece because, again, it sort of splits genre. It is qualified as a dive watch. It does have 20 ATM or 200-meter water resistance expressed on the case back, but it's also, as you can see from the insignia of the official users of this watch, you can see the Russian Space Agency and UNK. Help me out there, guys. UNK, I'm thinking of a Soviet-era particle accelerator that was never completed, but you can see Roscosmos, the Russian state, essentially Russian NASA, Russian State Space Agency. So used by cosmonauts, but also 20 ATM dive watch. It's a tough one to pigeonhole. Best described as the ultimate utility timepiece. That's borne out by the calibrations of the bezel, again unidirectional rotating with a loomed pearl, and the dial, which is built for maximum contrast. Now in a lot of ways, this is a version in earnest of what many Breitling watches seem to be. I've always felt that many Breitling chronomat models seem to be almost a caricature of a pilot's watch. This seems very technically specific, very technically astute in its design, as if there is no attempt to showboat. You can see the crisp white printing on the matte black backdrop. Also, because it is matte black, there's no danger of glare. Now, the watch has been used in one form or another since 1994 when the first examples were trialed on Mir by the Russian Space Agency. You can see that everything you need is present and correct. You can see that the chronograph subregisters, hours, minutes, and seconds, are a high contrast orange here, again making for a spectacular standout against the black backdrop. It does have an everyday friendly complication in the day date at 3 o'clock. The watch is based on a Valjoux 7750, and Fortis is very upfront about that. Even on their own website, they'll say, this is an ETA 7750, knee Valjoux, naturally. 44-hour power reserve, very robust, unidirectional automatic winding. It is set it and forget it accurate, and because it's based on the ETA base caliber, it does retain hacking, pull the crown, synchronized to your mission timer, or an atomic clock, and of course it does have a double quick set for the day and the date. The crown simply rotates in different directions in the second position, and you cycle the day and the date alternately. A very robust watch, a very versatile watch, neither precisely a pilot's watch nor precisely a dive watch. This one should be considered an all-terrain outstanding performer, a real standout. You can see this Fortis B-42 official Cosmonaut Chronograph and purchase it on our website, watchyouwant.com.